Reveal the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
All right, you ready to start?
Let's do it.
All right.
I got my Snoopy.
Let's dive in and go deep. And over my head, I want to be caught in the rush, lost in the flow. And over my head, oh no.
This is so familiar.
Let it go.
What is it? Wait, what?
I'm diving in. I'm
Thank
going
you.
deep in over my head. I'm gonna be caught in the rush, lost in the flow. In over my head, I want to go. There it is.
The river is
deep.
deep. The river is
deep.
The river's wide. The river's water is alive. So sink or swim. I'm diving in.
There you go.
There we go. We got there.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Today we are talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas. And we have some coffee. Well, I have coffee.
And I have tea. We really flipped the script this time.
Haha. Oh, how the turns have tabled, my friend. And I got mine from Scooters today. And I have, again, another week of a cute little elf cup. With a narwhal. There's a narwhal sticker I would try to show you, but I would pour out my coffee.
But also, we're not sponsored by Scooters.
I could pop the lid. There it is. Narwhal sticker. Boom.
I'm so glad I get to edit that out later.
I did that just for you, Jake. You're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? Different movie.
Yeah, that's fair. Connor did ask me if I wanted anything from Scooters, and I think my answer was, since it's Scooters, my answer is no.
Jacob, I think he called it trash coffee.
I did not call it trash coffee out loud.
He didn't call it that. I made that up. I'm feeling spicy today.
Oh, well, that's a quote from Community. I didn't say that. You may have thought it. I may have thought it, but I never said it.
Well, I'm drinking... Jake's going to make fun of me. I'm drinking a hot Caramelicious from Scooters. And you know what? It is delicious.
But is it Caramelicious?
Hold on. Let me check. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And I'm enjoying some peppermint tea because I woke up with a headache this morning.
Yeah, it's about that time. We're recording this on Monday. And if you're from Central Kansas, you will remember that Monday it snowed.
Yes.
So, welcome to winter, everyone.
December decided to make a really big entrance.
Welcome to winter.
And Christmas is coming.
I'm glad we're talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is like a half Halloween, half Christmas movie.
Yeah. We were going to do this a little bit earlier in the year.
Huh.
I couldn't really decide whether this was a Halloween or a Christmas movie. Because it's mostly a Halloween movie. But it's also a Christmas movie. I don't know. But we ended up flipping some things around because we changed our recording schedules.
Yep.
But
and now
this is a great movie. I don't know if it necessarily does. I mean, it's Tim Burton. Tim Burton has a cult following of his own, but I don't know if this movie necessarily deserves as massive of a cult following as it has. It's a great movie. I feel like it's, for a lot of people, it's not just a movie; it's a personality trait.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
How do you every time Halloween comes out, which is usually around the end of August.
Yeah, it's true.
One of the first things I see is something Jack Skellington. Every year.
Yeah.
This is a great movie, and a lot of people are absolutely obsessed with it. Yeah. Maybe this is just more of a flaw on my side.
It wasn't that part that I didn't understand. It was the personality trait comment that I wanted to you to
feel like it becomes a part of their personality. For me, it's Star Wars. Star Wars is not just something I enjoy or something I'm obsessed with. It's personality.
It's a personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this actually just says more about me, that I just get really reserved whenever I see things have a massive cult following.
You don't like it?
I tend not to engage with things that I know people let become a complete part of their lives.
Love it? Yeah.
I probably lean a little bit too far away from Taylor Swift because I know that Swifties exist and they're overly obsessed with her. I don't get into anime partly because I know that I probably would enjoy it. And if I got into it, it would be a never ending pit of despair that I would never get myself out of. I get really reserved around things that have big cult followings. And maybe that's a flaw on my part.
I just think it's interesting. as I hold my warm coffee in my hands, because you are like the biggest Star Wars cult person in my life.
I know. Maybe it's
So
just because
it's
I don't
very
have.
interesting.
Maybe it's just because I don't have room for another cult.
There
Thing.
you go. Maybe that's it. Yeah, yeah.
That's probably closer.
Yes, you were very cultish about Star Wars and very zealoty about SpongeBob.
Listen, it's,
This is a point that comes up weekly in the life of Jake and Connor.
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
All right, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Actually, hold on. It's just I'm not a zealot. It's just if you haven't watched it, don't make the reference. That's all.
But Jake, I'm ready. I'm ready.
And I can't even
ready.
I don't even know why I try to bother saying that because I haven't watched any of the new. Okay, we're getting down the rabbit trail. Let's move on. So, what did you think of the movie?
This movie. I thought that this movie was interesting. I've never seen it. So that was
You'd never seen it?
no. I had. It came out when I was born. Apparently,
Is it that old?
it said 93.
Wow.
Which is-
ancient.
I think this is like the fourth podcast in a row that I've made that comment. Like a lot.
I'm
of
so
our
glad that I can be
podcasts have been, like,
extending-
in the 90s.
Your cinematic knowledge.
Yeah, it's good. I thought it was creepy.
It's a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
I don't know a Tim Burton movie that's not creepy. Even Dumbo.
And I thought there was lots of interesting topics that we could have on conversation
Oh, yeah. Like what?
about Jesus.
Wait. That's a good idea. We should do a podcast on that.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. No, I'd be interested to hear what you think about. Which one do I want to start first? Let's start with cultural appropriation. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just doing it. I thought about this. I was like, ooh, do I want to talk about that? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't really want to, but I will.
I'm gonna need you to unpack that a little bit.
So, the whole plot of this movie is Halloween trying to steal Christmas and then do Christmas better than Christmas. And I thought that is an interesting way to think about cultural appropriation, which is cultural appropriation is when usually a majority culture takes a practice or an idea or something from a minority culture and then makes it their own and then just does it inappropriately or in poor taste or without context,
like a lot of
understanding.
Like
you
a
hear
lot
this a
of-
lot in social justice conversations.
Oh, my brain went to white rappers, not social justice.
Can be. Well, I mean, it's a similar train of thought.
Yeah.
So
I saw a reel. I don't know if I necessarily agreed with him, but some guy was talking about how he wished an artist like Forrest Frank wouldn't be taking over the genre of hip hop because that's not traditionally a white man's culture.
gotcha.
And the reason why I didn't necessarily agree with that is because I feel like I was specifically around that topic. Culture has not melded. What word am I looking for? Culture has just kept modernizing so much to where I actually don't know if that was Forrest Frank's background. He might have grown up with hip hop music. Things have just kind of blended together so much that we can't know just by looking at a person what they grew up with. That was a little off topic, but also not. Sorry. What do you think about all
hip
this?
hop? Hip hop music specifically is very. I mean, that is a lot of the places where people go when they think of cultural appropriation because that's where a lot of the conversation happens.
Right.
But I want to look at this story and see, okay, what were the ways that, because really you can call it cultural appropriation or you call it cultural misappropriation. You go both ways of that. How do you honor a culture and its practices and maybe even participate
I had a conversation
in a culture and its practices well, and then how do you do it poorly? And I think
Yeah.
this movie shows a lot of how you do it poorly.
Yeah.
Because what does Jack
Skellington.
Skellington or the Pumpkin King,
The pumpkin.
as he enters into Christmas land, or whatever it's called.
It's Christmas Town.
Christmas Town, and he's overcome with just the joy of Christmas. He's like, I love this. This is great.
It's fantastic.
I want to experience this all the time, and I want to bring this to
Yeah.
Pumpkin Land.
Yeah.
What's it called? Pumpkin
Halloween
Land?
Town.
Halloween Town.
Pretty sure they're all just called towns. Like it's probably Easter Town,
That's right.
St. Patrick's Town.
And so he, instead of building bridges in humility,
Oh, he just wants to take
approaching
it over.
Christmas Town
Yeah.
and honoring the practices of Christmas Town and trying to understand and to learn and like all these things, he just starts taking. He looks and then he sees and then he decides, how do I do? I'm just going to do this in Halloween Town, and then I'm going to like do it better than Christmas Town.
Right. Well, he doesn't just do it in Halloween Town. He's like, I'm taking this worldwide. Like, we're not just going to celebrate Christmas in Halloween Town. We're going to take over Christmas. You know what, Santa? It's Christmas Eve, but we're going to give you the night off because we've got this and we're going to do this better than you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think of as we have the call to go make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Right?
Okay,
That's
cool.
the
Because I didn't remember how
Great
that
Commission.
ended.
Great Commission. It wasn't for you, Jake. It's for just everyone.
Okay, good.
We have to have humility
Okay, say more.
as we go into spaces and people groups, and it doesn't have to be other nations. It can be your neighbors. It can be, if you're in a rural context, going to the city. If it's a city, going to a rural context. Like, you have to have humility as you walk into these different places to want to understand and to learn,
Yeah.
and not to just bring your cultural Christian practices. Oh yeah, I said it. And to typecast them onto whatever situation you're walking into. This is a bigger conversation about missiology and all these things as you that I am just pulling the thread right now. I'm just watching this whole thing unwind in front of me because there's so many different places I could go with this.
What the absolute heck is missiology?
Missiology. So my understanding of missiology is, what's your theology of essentially like evangelism mission as you bring the gospel into different people groups, into different situations? What are the parts that are essential and you have to keep? And what are the parts that you adapt
Gotcha.
to fit the
Yep.
situation?
I'm tracking.
An example that comes to my mind is when the Gentiles received the gospel and accepted it in the scriptures, was that Acts 15? And they go to the Jerusalem council and they're like, what do we tell these Gentile believers?
Do they need to be circumcised?
Yes. Do they need to be circumcised? Do they need to follow our customs? Blah, blah, all these things. And what does that Jerusalem council essentially come to the conclusion? They send them a letter and they tell them 4 things. They're like, do these 4 things. One's like abstain from food sacrificed to idols. One's like avoid sexual immorality. There's a couple more that I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
Wow. Do you even know the Bible?
And then they say, it seems right to us to abstain from these things, and otherwise,
Yeah.
welcome to the kingdom. That's an example of missiology. What do
Okay.
you keep? What do you get rid of?
Gotcha,
I think of a
gotcha,
story, an example as you bring the gospel into African nations or any
Oh, now
people
we're just
group.
going to go into colonization.
No. Any people group where what's not monogamy but polyamory? Is that what it's called? Is that the
Yes.
right word?
Yes,
am I saying-
polyamory.
Where you have multiple spouses.
Yes, I think so.
I'm like, poly something.
It's poly something.
Anyways,
I think polyamory
when you
is
go
whenever you-
into that context and you bring the gospel and you think about, okay, my understanding of the scriptures is monogamy.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you come into those contexts, they found that when they implement even like not just the gospel, it's by grace you've been saved through faith, but they also implement these other things.
Yeah.
The rule, oftentimes it will like disproportionately
Right.
affect poor and marginalized people. As an example, if you go into a context where it's you have like a man is married to multiple women and you say you can only be married to one. Then that man divorces all these women, and how their system is set up in their context is, okay, now all these women and their children are now homeless and they don't have means and they don't have permission.
That is way more
it's messy.
It's way closer to home than you would think too, cuz
Yes.
It was 2 years. I wish I remembered more of this conversation, but 2 years ago we were in Indiana. This is the year that we got in the car wreck, and we went over to the Free Methodist headquarters because Priscilla just gotten ordained. Wait, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? One of those. And like the bunch of pastors who were there were asking the bishops about this, about like, you know, questions they have because they're new to the Free Methodist Church. And one of them was like, hey, I have a predominantly African like church in my American town. Mm-hmm. And one of these guys is coming in with multiple wives.
Yeah.
So, but in their culture, like you said, if he were to divorce them, he's kicking him to the curb.
Right.
Like they're going to like, not only will they be homeless, but they're not valued. Mm. I wish I remembered how they answered the question, but like, dude, this is not just something that happens so far away from here. This is something that's happening close to home too.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
That's, yeah.
So as we look at this movie, and specifically me, as I think about appropriation, cultural appropriation, it's that humility piece and the lack of a posture of learning and seeking to understand before being understood, and seeking to honor Christmas Town.
Yeah.
And to figure out, okay, how do I do that well?
Yeah.
And what are some of these things that will be appropriate for me to want to bring back to Halloween Town and to expose Halloween Town to, and how do I do that well?
Yeah.
But that requires a lot more investment.
Yeah.
From Jack
Skellington.
The Pumpkin King. I'm going to keep calling him the Pumpkin King. Skellington. Jack Skellington.
This was something that came up when I got to teach Ryan Mackey's class. A student asked, what do you do in the church context if you have different cultures in your community? And because there's like two ways we can go with that, right? So if I'm a worship, because this was a worship theology class, which we both got to teach at. Thanks, Bishop. It was the interesting conversation that we kind of had for a little bit was like, so if I'm at a church where there is a heavy Hispanic culture, was the example we used, should I, as the worship leader, try to include in our canon of worship Hispanic music, like Hispanic language? Mm-hmm. And the conversation that kind of unfolded was like, well, I think it depends on, and this is kind of where, like, I'm going to connect this back, I promise. It kind of depends on how well we can execute it, because my white butt is not going to be able to pronounce that some of these Spanish worship lyrics nearly enough to actually honor the culture. Mm. And if I've got a worship team, predominantly white culture, or even other cultures, but doesn't have the capability of leading Hispanic styled worship, us trying to do that would actually bring more dishonor to that culture than honor itself. And so, like, the example, like in that conversation, you know, Bishop Mackey was talking about how, you know, hey, if he's playing a Hispanic set, like a Mexican style worship set, like, put him on guitar, but please do not have him lead songs, because he may be able to, you know, chunk the chords the way that they need to, but he will not be able to lead worship the way that he needs to actually honor and bring those people into worship. I almost lost track of where I was connecting this. The danger with it just tends, because every single time that Jack Skellington tried to appropriate more of Christmas into like, it kept getting diluted with Halloween. Mm. He was not actually able to honor Christmas,
right? Because
he doesn't know how.
That's right.
And to me, that's like, if that's like me trying to lead an African worship set. I will not be able to do that well enough to actually honor the culture, to honor and be able to lead people who live and have been raised in that culture into worship of Jesus. Like, I just can't. So the best thing I can do is either find somebody who can,
yep,
and get out of the way, or just find ways to immerse myself in it without having to lead from a place that's not authentic to me.
Or build an alliance, build a partnership.
Yeah.
Find a guide. There's a great book. It's a great book called Canoeing the Mountains by, oh no, I forgot his name.
Is it one of the 30 books you're reading right now?
No, I read this a long time ago. But he's a pastor in
Colorado?
Yes. I think he ended up teaching at Fuller Seminary. Anyways, just look it up. Canoeing the Mountains. Very unusual title. You'll find it right away.
Very unusual.
His argument in that book about, argument is he uses the story of Lewis and Clark
Oh, okay.
going west, and specifically about their reliance on and dependence on and the alliance with Sacagawea,
Yeah.
however you say her name. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Apologize.
Way to culturally appropriate her
Right as we're
name.
talking about it, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but everyone knows who I'm talking about. They left from wherever they left from, St. Louis maybe,
St. Louis. Yeah.
and they started canoeing because they thought they were gonna, because they were seafaring men, naval. They were trained in the water.
I'm assuming they had belly buttons.
They were trained in water, and they were thinking that they were going to use water to get all the way to the, what ocean is that? Pacific Ocean.
You're killing it with the geography today.
I'm killing it. Well, guess what? They ran into the mountains and they ran out of water, and they realized, oh wait, we're not going to be able to. So they had to ditch the canoes, and they had a whole team of people that were just trained in canoes. Oof. And so it just shows it goes on to use a story to say that they had to build alliances with people who are familiar with the terrain in the area to accomplish the mission that they were trying to accomplish. And they had to rely in humility and dependence on someone who was not a part of their nation, not a part of their group, who couldn't even speak the same language that they did.
Yeah.
Sacagawea and others, to help them get there. And it's just this larger picture of what the church needs to do as it goes into different spaces. Is you have to build alliances and bridges with people, and with humility come and just say, here's what we're trying to do. You know, will you help me understand what's going to work, what's not going to work, what do I need to do, how do I do it?
Yeah.
All these kinds of things to accomplish the mission that we've been given to do. Because oftentimes the church, especially in the United States, how it's shifting and the culture's shifting away from being largely open to faith. It has shifted and continues to shift in the other direction.
Of being more open or less open?
We cannot, being less open. We cannot carry our canoes we've been using for the last however many years.
That's a good comparison.
And we have to drop them, and then we have to
find
figure
something
out
new.
the
That's
new way to
good.
canoe the mountains.
That's good.
So I also see that in this movie, just the larger parallels, not just the critique of cultural appropriation, although I do think that's a valid critique.
Yeah.
But also, how do we effectively or ineffectively bring the gospel and try to represent the kingdom of God everywhere that we go?
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking about, because you're talking about like needing to let go of the old if we want to use more Bible terms, letting go of the old wineskins to pick up the new ones, and talk about cultural appropriation and all this stuff. I think that even it warrants a conversation on how this is a trigger word for us at Pops here, how we actually act as Christ's ambassadors to the world. Do we need to expect the world to act and live with the same values that we do? No. I think the answer is no, at least. Like if I follow Jesus and I see somebody who doesn't follow Jesus, I should not expect them to live a life like they're following Jesus. Where was I going to go with this?
I think instead of trigger word, you meant buzzword.
Buzzword, thank you. Yeah, buzzword. Buzzword's a better one.
I've been triggered.
Yeah.
You triggered me, Jake. No, I hear you. I was like, triggered? Oh, buzzword.
Like, oh, here's where I was going.
There you go.
Like Jack Skellington's surprise that the whole world was not happy with their Halloween Christmas is, I just kind of like, and now I'm thinking about that moment like it's where I'm looking around at the world and, well, I'm a conservative Christian. The rest of the world should love the way that I live my life, so why don't they live it my way?
Yeah. Right.
And then shocked when like, oh, you don't like what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't like me. This is a little less common, but it's the example I always go back to. You don't like me protesting outside of baseball games, telling you to go home and read your Bible?
Right. And that's a good point because, and what I was going to say, it's not what you're saying, it's how you are saying it. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times I hear somebody say something that I'm like, I agree with that, but the way that you're saying that makes me want to oppose you.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
Yes.
So just imagine how the people that don't agree with you are feeling right now. It's the how, it's the humility. It's the, I've heard it said, if you come into a conversation, you could say argument, let's say discussion. You come into a discussion.
An aggressive negotiation.
There we go. There you go. I have the high ground. No.
It's a negotiation with lightsabers.
It's very aggressive. When you come into a discussion where you know you don't agree. You don't agree. You know it going into it. What's your posture coming into that conversation? What's the posture you're hoping the other person is going to have? And you have to yourself take on that posture for it to even be an opportunity. If you're coming to that conversation hoping the other person changes their mind, you have to come into that conversation open to saying, hey, if I'm presented with something that I have to reevaluate what I believe or what I'm saying, then I'm willing to do it. You have to have that kind of humility and openness.
I don't have humility, but I have peppermint tea.
You have nice. You have peppermint tea. And as Christians, I think when we're rooted and built on Jesus, he's our firm foundation. Then we go, okay, all these things I hold openly, saying I am not the truth and I don't have a perfect understanding of the truth, but I stand on the one who is true. And the ways and the Spirit is working in me always, guess what? This is called discipleship. Where I am letting go continually of what is false and not true. And I am stepping into more and more of what is true, what is beautiful, what is good.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing process in my life. It's not done.
Yeah.
It's ongoing. We come into these conversations with that kind of humility, saying, we don't see eye to eye on this. And here's what I think. Obviously, you think something different. Let's have a discussion because I want to see it the way you see it.
Yeah.
And I want to understand it more deeply. I want to see if what I think is true is actually true in the Spirit as I'm wrestling through this with you, as I'm rooted in Jesus, as I'm in the Word. And we have humility. What I see so often in my life and in other people's lives is, other Christians' lives, is we become so tied to dogmatism, which is like our understanding of Scripture and how that's supposed to be lived out. And we become loyal to that instead of being loyal to the person of Jesus.
Man, you just brought the blowtorch today.
I'm bringing it, apparently. Cultural appropriation, dogmatism. Man, who knows what else we're going to talk about? Is that when we're dogmatic and we're like, this is how it has to be lived out. And my way is the right way of implementing this and living this out. Even if it is the right way, and we become loyal to that instead of staying loyal to Jesus, then we become defensive. We become standoffish. We start building walls instead of bridges because our house is not built on Jesus. It's built on our dogmatism. And if you take a sledgehammer to any part of my dogmatism, you say anything that weasels its way past my defenses, and then this part that I have built my house on starts to crumble, then my life unravels. And so I can't be open to other viewpoints. Again, because we're building our house on things that are not the rock, Jesus. they're Jesus adjacent, right?
Right.
And therefore it becomes, oh, these are the same thing. No. This is not the same thing. I was thinking about this the other day. Man, you just got me. I got caffeinated, people. Watch out. I was thinking about this the other day. In my life, too, so much of being stuck and trying to control my life has been, here's my theological stance on this thing. And here's my understanding of Scripture, and I'm going to lock that in. Done. Instead of holding that with again, we talk about dogmatism, holding that with openness and saying, no, guess what? My understanding of Scripture is not the cornerstone. Jesus
Is the cornerstone.
And he's a real person, a real being who's, I just read this morning. God says, my ways are higher than your ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Okay. He is beyond us. He's not in our box. We all have a God box. We do. It's just the limits of our minds and all those kinds of things. But when we don't leave that box open and we try to close it and then contour it to fit what we want so that we can just stuff him into the cornerstone spot and say, there you go. Just like, no, I'm not. That's not how this works. This will start to crumble around you because you're not putting me as the cornerstone. You're putting your ideas of me as the cornerstone. I popped off.
I have so many thoughts.
Go, please. Someone else
I'm
go.
trying to think about someone else. Who else is here?
That's what
Is
I'm
the
saying.
stormtrooper over there going to start talking?
He might. You never know. God
he's
can come
actually
through
out of-
that.
he's
He can
actually
come
out
through
of
the mouth
batteries.
of a mule. So I think that stormtrooper could start talking.
I have so many thoughts.
Just on the last one.
Yeah,
The
okay.
most recent one.
Okay. That's literally what I'm writing about.
Yeah. Look at that.
You talk about how, like, honestly, I think that we've moved into a day and age where trying to make anything permanent, anything that we like close the box on, anything that we make like, okay, well, this is the way, that's all the only way it's ever going to be done. Like, first of all, that's when we start stagnating in faith. Secondly, life moves way too much these days. It changes way too much and it moves way too fast for anything that permanent to actually thrive.
Yeah.
So like, I think, and you talk about how we can easily make something Jesus adjacent, that cornerstone instead of Jesus himself. Like, I could easily talk about how most of my life I could say about half my life, I wanted to be a worship pastor. That's all I really wanted to be. I went to school for it. I felt called to it since I was 15 years old, which now I'm pushing 30, and so I can actually say that's half my life. And I like, even after college, it's the only type of work I even tried looking for. And then finally got my chance to actually get it. And like, it's ministry. Ministry is a good thing.
Yes.
But when I lost it, I lost who I am. Because I've like, for 4 years, I finally got that, man, I'm a full-time worship pastor. This is what I get to do. This is who I am. I get to play music for Jesus and set the vibe for God. Like, that's who I am. And then I lost it. And I realized, like, oh, I've been relying more on that than I have been on Jesus. Which, the funny thing that I'm choosing to laugh at now is that right before that all happened, I was praying and asking God to change the way I see him.
Yeah.
Prayers are dangerous, people. Careful what you pray for. But I made a permanent structure on the way that I am a Christian is to be a worship pastor. And that did not last.
Right.
So what do we do when things change? What do we do when what once worked doesn't work? Because that's gonna happen. Yeah. We will never stumble onto a way of walking with Jesus that will be a one size fits all for the rest of time.
Yeah.
That will never happen. Ever, period. You will find things that work for you. And this is kind of coming back to cultural appropriation a little bit. Why is that such a hard word for me to say? Anyways, it may work for you in your context. Like, I think about even, I mean, I have never witnessed it, but like, you go over to the African countries and you'll see a lot of churches where their culture is one thing, and then they show up to church and it's all suits and hymns. Like that's not their culture, but it was made a part of their culture because somebody went over there and decided this is the way you do church. That's it. So something that may work for you will not work for someone else. It just won't, because there's 8 billion people on this earth right now, and however many billions that have lived on this earth before us.
Yeah.
It's not possible to find a one size fit all, because God didn't make people one size fit all.
Yep.
So honestly, like I loved your metaphor of like we all have a God-sized box. Like that's the thing I've heard for a long time, but like learning to keep the box open.
Yep.
Because God will always reveal himself in new ways.
That's right.
God will always like change how you see him, especially if you ask. Careful if you ask. We have to just be open. We have to keep looking for what might be different. And that's like, to kind of connect to one of the things that I saw in this movie, I saw burnout. Because Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, was so dedicated to this is the way things always work. This is the way that we do Halloween, and doing it the same way every single year and never changing anything just got tiring. It made me think a lot about like, I mean, growing up as a musician in church, you get to a point where you know all the same songs over like that you play every single week, and it just gets old. And then you just get tired. But trying to take over something else, like something new, I don't think that's the answer. But man, if we engage with things different than us, things new, things out of the normal for us, it'll bring us new life to the things that we're good at. It'll bring us new life to the ways that God has wired us. So like being in church communications, which if you'd have asked me what was on my bingo card for this year, that would not have been it. Even for, I've just, but has given like just engaging with an area, a new job, all this stuff that I would never have expected from myself, has helped give me new life, a new light, a new perspective on what worship is. Because for the first time in 15 years, I got to just, first of all, for the first time in 15 years, a year, more than a year ago now, wow, I just got to be in the congregation. I haven't had that since high school.
Yep.
And then just as Priscilla and I started getting more involved at this church and then started working there, I got to just be on the team. And if I had the box closed on my God box, if I'm like, this is the way it always has to work, this is the way it always has to look, this is the way we always do it, that would have pissed me off. It did piss me off a lot.
Yeah.
It was the like, but why don't we do this song? Why don't we do things this way? Well, because you're not in charge anymore. Fine.
Yeah.
But man, that just brought me new life.
Yeah.
Not like actually not having to stress out about it or worry about it, or just being able to come in and use the gifts that I've been given. No pressure. That changed something in me.
Yeah.
So like, how did I get to this point? I don't even know how I got here. When we're looking at what has changed, when we stop trying to force what works always works, we never change it, we might find new life in areas we thought were long since dead. Because, I mean, Jack was tired of Halloween.
Yeah.
But the more he engaged with something new, something outside of the box, something that he was not familiar with, the more he actually found more life in being the Pumpkin King. And that was ultimately the thing he accepted at the very end of the movie of like, why am I trying to force this?
Yeah.
I am who I am. I'm a skeleton. I am not Sandy Claus.
Yeah.
Why am I trying to be someone I'm not? And honestly, like, I don't know. Like in my head, I just imagine from then on out, they're still all about Halloween, but maybe around Christmas, they break out the Christmas trees and they celebrate Halloween rather than trying to take it over. You know, like just kind of brings me a little bit of life. Brings me a little joy.
I think that's a good prayer, that it's dangerous. And that's why it's a good prayer. I guess that's not why, but just because it's dangerous doesn't mean it's bad. That I want to pray more, and that I hope that more Christians will pray more, is, God, let me align my will to your will instead of let me try to convince you to align your will to my will.
Ooh, yep.
And that is very hard to do. That's just hard to pray in general, but it's also very difficult to get to that posture. Mm-hmm. And that's the work of the Spirit in us, too. Mm-hmm. Developing that, getting us there. Because I've been on that trip for like a year and what month is it? 2 months. And I'm better than I was, but I'm still not great at it. Help me align my will to your will.
Yeah.
And to be not just okay with your will, but to embrace it as it is, which is good and perfect and pleasing. And that would be my default assumption. Mm.
How does that change the way you handle when things are different?
What do you mean?
So like, that just has me thinking, like my brain
when it feels like my will is different than what God's will is.
I mean, that's a good question, but that's not entirely what I was asking. I was thinking more like when you encounter something that like, well, this is new. Mm. How do you engage with that differently with the mindset of let my will be aligned with yours rather than let your will be aligned with mine? Like, yeah, when you engage with something that like, oh, this seems maybe new, maybe a little weird, maybe even a sense a little wrong.
I think it's a lot easier to be curious in that and open, even if it's hard, you know, to be inquisitive. God, what are you doing in this? Like, what are you showing me in this? Being honest, like, this is hard. You know, just be honest with God. Be like, this sucks. I pray that a lot.
God, this sucks. Amen.
I prayed this yesterday. I was like, I know it's good, but it doesn't feel good.
Ooh.
You know? And like, I should be honest with you. Yeah. And God's like, yeah, I appreciate your honesty. You know? Like, he's not like, I can't believe that you would feel that way. I think we've both read the book Living Fearlessly by Jamie Winship. And that's like the crux of that book he's talking about is if you want to get to the point where you are experiencing truth and life in Christ, you have to be honest about your experience. You can't hide your experience and try to just sweep it under a rug with God. Like we'll try to come to
Good
God and
luck
be like,
trying too.
Well, we can't. Yes. But also we try to, like, we'd be like, oh, I'm not excited about this plan. But then you're like, oh, but he's God. I can't tell him that. I got to pretend like I'm okay with it. Or I got to pretend like I didn't hear it because I'm not okay with it, but I don't want to do what you asked me to do or you told me it's going to do. So I'm going to pretend like I didn't even hear it.
God, you want me to go to where? Nineveh?
Yes.
Let's go to Tarshish.
What if Jonah had been like, I mean, he was like, this sucks. I'm not doing that. But what if he had been like, this sucks. It doesn't feel good. I know it's good. Help me.
Yeah.
It's just help me. When we have, so I think that's just a whole bundle of mess, but it's you have humility, you don't, and you are less likely to be defensive. I should just speak for me. I am less likely to be defensive or resistant when I can just be honest with God about it.
Yeah.
I heard this and every part of me wants to run away from this. And sometimes I will run away from this. Right now, I am choosing, you said choosing to earlier. I was like, that's a good word. I am choosing to, I don't remember either, but you said it. I'm choosing to engage with you in it.
Yeah.
Help me get to the place.
Yeah.
And I think about Philippians 1:6 all the time, being confident that this, he who
began a
good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus.
Yep.
It's like, okay, and Louis Giglio wrote a book about this. I don't remember what it's called, but shout out to him. Or maybe I heard a podcast about it. It was about a book. It was on a podcast where he said, at the end of the day, when you need rest and Sabbath, and your brain's running 1,000,000 miles an hour, you have to just get to the point where you just give up to God Not just give up to God.
Yeah.
Be like, God, I can't carry this anymore. I can't do it. Help me. I gotta give it to you because I gotta sleep tonight. I gotta, this thing's going on. This person in my life is sick. Work sucks right now. We had to let this person go, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the thing is that is just overwhelming you when you're in the place and you just go, I give up to you. And there you go.
Yeah.
And God's like, yes. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Did I tell you when I on like a day retreat with Bishop Mackey the other week?
I heard it happened.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a chance to unpack it with you yet. So there's been Thanksgiving.
Let's unpack a little
There's
bit
been
right now.
Thanksgiving between then and now.
There has been. I'm gonna unpack a little bit of it. So I came out. I've been asking Ryan and I to do some sort of day retreat since September, and schedules and everything, and life and everything. Yeah. Life happens.
Life, classic.
But we finally got the chance to, and we just used like the CCM building at Central because life. But I came to this. It was a Saturday morning, and Priscilla and I practiced Sabbath on Fridays. And I came out of Sabbath where like I just looking at like coming out of it, I felt like I failed Sabbath. And I've been working really hard to figure out what Sabbath means, what Sabbath looks like, how to practice Sabbath for years. And so I got to the end of that Friday, and I felt like I spent most of the day either watching a show or playing a game or just doing whatever I could to be distracted. Mm-hmm. And there was a quote in my head from John Mark Comer, of course, who, when talking about Sabbath, he always mentioned like there's a part in his day where he feels like he got a little bit of his soul back. Mm-hmm. And I did not feel that way at the end of this day. Mm-hmm. I felt like I lost a little bit more of it. And so I'm walking into this retreat believing like, man, why can't I just figure out how to practice Sabbath? Why can't I just do this? Why doesn't this just work? I'm not feeling rested. I'm not feeling joy. I'm not feeling peace. And the Lord freaking smacked me in the best way possible. But he was talking a lot about, talked to me a lot about chasing emotions first over obedience. Because we watched this video about prayer and how the goal of prayer is not to receive the fruit of the Spirit. It is to receive union with God. And then we paired that with the story in Luke about Zacchaeus, the wee little man. Wee little man. And in my one of the little hour-long prayer sessions we did, he was just reminding me and showing me how Zacchaeus agreeing and deciding to give up all of his wealth and pay back the people he has wronged, that was not an impulsive decision. There's no way that could have been an impulsive decision, because it's what led him to climb the dang tree. It's what led him to draw attention to himself when he had a really bad reputation in town, when all that, whatever. All of this connected to, in my life, I've been chasing so the example in my life is I'm worried so much that Priscilla feels comfortable and safe with me, mm-hmm. that I sacrifice parts of myself in order to help her feel that way. When in all reality, when I do that, I'm causing her to feel less comfortable, less safe, because she's not actually receiving all of me. So by trying to chase after the thing I want, I'm actually losing the thing I want. And so all of this, Jesus just reminded me that the feeling is not the method, it's the results. And I wonder, now that I'm connecting this back, trying to, because I don't fully remember why I connected this. What were you talking about before this? Okay, cool. Glad that we got into a completely different topic. What was I saying? I think when we chase after the things that always worked, or the things that we want, we have to have that open concept, the open-minded concept of, Lord, let my will be aligned with yours instead of yours aligned with mine. Because we don't even, like we talked about this on a previous podcast, Bruce Almighty, like we don't know what we want.
Yeah.
Or if we do, we don't know how to get there. Mm-hmm. So while I'm just in my marriage, hoping that I can do whatever I can to make my wife feel comfortable and safe with me, I'm actually getting the opposite of that by making the emotions more important than union with God and union in my marriage. I've made such a mountain out of this molehill that I've not been willing to let go of it to actually receive from God what I actually need, which is coming into understanding and being free and comfortable with myself. There's a lot more that happened that morning, but that was kind of the gist of it. And I'm trying to remember what you were saying that made me think of this, but I just have to keep going because that's not, I guess, not relevant anymore. Keeping that open-minded, that God's will is more important, will actually bring us what we truly want. Straight up.
Because God is for us, not against us.
Yes, even if our ways are different.
He created us, and He knows He knit us together in our mother's womb.
Yeah.
Right. Psalm 139. Right.
Right.
All the days
That's what,
ordained for me are written in your book.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know them. You know the word that's before it's on my tongue.
right.
Like, God knows us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
And God is more for our good than we are for our own good.
Right. That's where I was going. Okay, I remember now.
And we get there when we trust God and give up our ideas of what we want and what's good.
Yeah.
Willfully
Yeah.
and willingly.
And unashamedly. Because part of that process for me has been, I have to re-navigate what it looks like to like be honest with myself. Kind of like you're saying, God, this sucks. Actually recognizing that's an okay prayer. That's not even just an okay prayer. That's a great prayer.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic prayer.
Yep.
Read the Psalms. Every other chapter, David's asking, God, where are you? Where are you at?
Yeah.
You over here? Why? Like, did you forget about me? Hi, I'm right here. Like, that is okay for us to ask. It's not like God doesn't know we're thinking this.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just being honest.
Yeah.
Honesty will not surprise him because, like you say, he knows us.
Right.
He knows everything about us. And so, like, I was actually having this conversation with my dad the other day. Like, this whole, well, God already knows what I need, so why do I have to pray to him? Because it's not about getting what you need. It's about relationship. I don't talk to you because I want something from you. You're my friend. I just want to be around you. So much so I let you move into my house.
It's amazing.
And we haven't killed each other yet, which is a miracle.
Not yet. You brought a baseball bat home, though, so it might change. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, probably. That's fair. Like when the goal is getting exactly what we think we want, we actually miss out on the beautiful relationship that we can have with God and others. When we're chasing after, I just want to feel alive with what I'm good at, we actually lose it. But it's because we're not willing to be honest with it.
Can I be honest about Jack?
Yes.
He doesn't get what he wants
No.
at the end.
Oh, because he wants something different than Halloween.
Yeah. I don't know what he wants, but he didn't get it. And honestly, watching the movie, I was dissatisfied
Really?
with the ending.
Really?
I really was.
Okay.
Because it was like he's depressed about Halloween Town and his role in all of it. And then he goes to Christmas Town and experiences the joy of Christmas Town and is awakened to a whole new thing. This whole new emotion, this whole new feeling, this whole new thing that he's like, I want this. I need this. And he goes about pursuing that thing very poorly in how he tries to bring this thing into his context and his life.
Right.
And to fulfill this yearning. And then his conclusion at the end is just that he wanted some new thing for Halloween. I don't understand. And then he like ends up with the girl. Hooray. That's great. But did he get the yearning of his heart? I felt like the yearning of his heart was, this is all meaningless. And then he goes to Christmas Town, goes on this whole wild ride, and then doesn't get what he wants, and then just settles back in with a new way to try to...
I didn't see it that way at all.
I did. And I think... And it doesn't matter if that's the right way to see it or the wrong way to see it.
Right.
The conversation that I want to have is... when we're dissatisfied, we often try to address that dissatisfaction the same way we've been doing it our whole life and expecting a different outcome.
Okay.
Just chasing something new. It's a new it's a new adventure. It's a new marriage. Sorry, I just jumped to an extreme, but I went there. It's a new, right, something's not right, and I'm going to try to, and I'm dissatisfied, and I'm going to change it by trying all the ways I've been doing it before, or all the wrong ways to do it. I'm going to try to get there, and then when I don't get there, I'm going to just settle back into the way it was before until I'm dissatisfied again, and then I'm going to pivot again.
Okay,
and then I'm going to settle back in, and then I'm going to pivot again. Because guess what? Bro's going to be burnt out in another 10 Halloweens, 50 maybe, and he's going to have the same issue.
And then he'll try taking over Easter.
Yeah, he'll go to one of the other the holiday trees. So there's some extreme introspection that is lacking in Jack the Pumpkin King's life. That if he would pause and consider, I think he might come to healthier conclusions.
Okay, so what is the conclusion that like would satisfy you in his character development? What he's wrestling with? Like, what's the end goal that you think is a little healthier?
So he tries all the things, doesn't work. Mm-hmm. What's his role in Halloween Town?
Pumpkin King.
Yeah, but not title.
Oh,
like,
okay.
What's his purpose? His purpose that ignites his heart. Because it's not Halloween.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like it.
I see you. Yeah. Okay.
So what's his purpose? Now, there are ways he can enact his purpose within his role as Pumpkin King and within the context of Halloween. Mm-hmm. That could be really interesting to flesh out. About maybe he's taking the joy of Christmas time and thinking, how can I, if that's my purpose, if that's what really is igniting my heart, how do I learn and grow in this and then apply it into Halloween? Instead of, I'm going to try some new things. I'm going to be a little more creative. If his job was to be creative, he would have already been doing it. Like, if that was his purpose, he would have already been doing it.
Right.
And he kind of was.
His job was leading Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then and putting on a great show.
We could go down there. We could go down that route.
So, I don't necessarily... Well, we don't really have time.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole other podcast.
I don't know. If that resonates with people, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But I was dissatisfied for him, this character specifically. I don't feel like I feel like the problem of the movie was set up as in he's dissatisfied with something deep within him, and their solution at the end did not meet that dissatisfaction.
Okay, I see. Because the line that kept coming in my head, and I don't remember the lyrics per se, but it was like, he feels trapped by his role. He feels trapped by being the Pumpkin King, because there's like one of the first songs he even mentions, like, if I could give this crown to somebody else, I would, but I'm too good at this, so I can't.
Yeah.
First of all, understandable how many people feel trapped, but like how many church creatives feel trapped by the fact that like, oh, well, I'm a good graphic designer, I'm a good singer, so like I will always be needed on a worship stage, or I will always be needed to continue doing the things that I'm doing it for my church. Like, it's really, and we've seen a lot of very, very renowned worship creatives and their faith completely fall apart because they just feel trapped by their role. They're just trapped by what they're good at. So there's a loss of purpose. There's a loss of like, well, this isn't like, so like now I'm starting to agree with you. Like maybe the end goal is he should have, what if he had crowned a new Pumpkin King or Queen? And then he could just he could have just been like
he
the
could have gone backpacking through instead of Europe, backpacking through the other 6 holidays or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately,
yeah
it could have been, hey, I need 10 years to
just
explore
sabbatical.
and discover
Yeah.
and experiment.
Yeah,
and
to be able to fall in
released.
love with what he's good at again, because
from
like that's what brought him
this.
back. What brought him back to like that acceptance and probably putting himself back into the cycle
Yes.
was this like, well, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is what I am. This is what I like. I'm the Pumpkin King. I'm scary. I like scaring people. Like even all of the times that like the people of Halloween Town were trying to help him. So like, oh, let's take this rat and turn it into a hat. And he's like, ooh, that's a good idea. Is it?
Exactly. Well, maybe that's the larger one. It's a deep-seated problem
Yeah.
in him, and he just band-aids it. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
He just band-aids it.
Yeah. That's it. Like, I mean, that's even a good question to end on.
He tried this new thing,
running out of
didn't
time.
work. Okay, I gotta go back to what I was doing. I was supposed to do this the whole time. And you're like, yeah, but you didn't
really get to
actually change anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like in what do they call it? They call it being a dry drunk in like Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.
Oh, we're all
dry drunk.
Don't think about alcohol. Don't think about, yeah.
No, it's like you're not drinking and you're not getting drunk,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing else in your life has changed. Like you just, this part, you're just like so focused on this, that this is better.
Right.
But all of the things that
Right.
led to this have not changed.
Well, and it's a step in the right direction.
It's not a bad step.
Right.
But
It
but
can't
dry
be the
drunk
destination.
means that, yes, means that you're just satisfied with not getting drunk anymore. And It's
Yeah.
like, well, no, you have all these other things
Yeah.
that have contributed to your
Yeah.
dependence on alcohol that now probably is being found somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because we haven't actually addressed the root
Yeah.
problems.
So his coming back into the joy of what he's good at, that's decent, but it's not the end. It's not the end.
Yeah.
Because there's still that deep-seated dissatisfaction of,
Yes.
well, this ain't it.
Yeah.
This can't be all there is.
Nope.
And that's a decent place, like as we're starting to run out of time, to really end on is, what does it look like in your own life to stop putting Band-Aids on the deep-seated problems? If you've recognized, because like the first step is like the first and very hard step is recognizing that something's wrong. Where do you find yourself in cycles? Where do you find yourself of like, well, why am I here again? Maybe you're a church musician who's tired of playing on stage. Like I've known people that, like, I know amazing musicians that just get burnt out whenever they start feeling used by a church. But the process, the acceptance of like, well, I just like playing music. That's great, but address the problem.
Yep.
I'm glad that you found new love of music, and that, like, I'm glad that you're able to maybe start playing on your worship team again. But that's not the end. You still have a problem here. So
Yeah.
what does it look like to maybe take off the Band-Aid and actually do some deep soul work?
Yeah. Don't quit just trying to do the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Expect different results.
Don't chase the weeds. Pull the roots.
Yeah. It's 7 layers of why.
Is that a book?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I've
You
heard
should
it from
write
somewhere else, though. I don't think that was original to me.
Oh, okay.
Ask why. Why am I dissatisfied? Come up with an answer. And then ask why again. And then ask why a third time. And now you will start to descend to the root of the sweet. But those are dangerous questions. So we talk about dangerous prayers, dangerous questions, because they will change you.
Yep. 100%.
Or at least they say ignorance is bliss, right? Oh, if I don't know, then I don't have to address it because addressing is hard. Guess what? Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad. So it might be the exact place that God is inviting you to go this Christmas season. So, because I don't know if you realize this, but humanity had a tremendous problem.
What?
A tremendous problem.
Beats me.
And Jesus chose the most hard path to resolve that problem. So take courage from the one who knows exactly what it feels like to embrace the suck. Jesus embraced the suck.
That's going to be the title of your book.
It very well might be. Embrace the suck. Because there's freedom on the other side of the suck. Mm-hmm. But guess what? It sucks.
Wait,
anybody that tries to tell you can have freedom without the suck, it's not really freedom.
Yeah. It's like all the weight loss programs where it's like, just take this pill.
Yeah.
And you'll lose a bunch of weight. Yeah, but then I'm going to gain it all back.
Yeah, or you got to depend on this pill. I know. It's hard. It sucks. Welcome to the club. But it's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. And it's a testimony to the world around us. Because people go, why are you doing this? Or how are you doing this? Is actually also how are you doing this? And it's like, well, Jesus invited me into it, and yeah, it hurts. It don't feel good, but you're seeing the fruit in my life.
Yeah.
You're seeing the freedom. You're seeing the liberation. You're seeing the whatever as God empowers you in the Spirit to go where He's calling and asking you to go. I'll say something else as we wrap up. Because Jack's calling in that season of his life may have changed. Because depending on the season of our life, our callings can change.
Right.
Shift. Yes. I was called to worship ministry, but I'm not called to that anymore. At least not for this next season. Maybe
Right.
I'll be back. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Right? It has shifted. So I still have purpose.
Yeah.
And I still have passion.
Yeah.
And I still love music. But there's other things
Yeah.
that God's inviting us into. And Jack, maybe he was called in to be the Pumpkin King for a time. Mm-hmm. But his time with that may be long gone. Mm-hmm. And he refuses to acknowledge it.
Yeah. That's the difference between a calling and an assignment. Who you are as a Christ ambassador, who you are as a Jesus follower will never change. You are still called to be a representative of God's love to the world. Mm-hmm. But the way that happens will always shift.
Yep. And so maybe if you are in a season where you are experiencing dissatisfaction, maybe like Jack the Ripper. Maybe
Jack Skellington.
Whatever. See, I told you. They can't keep doing this. They can't keep calling this guy Jack when it's Halloween. He's a beanstalk, all right? Wait,
He's
what?
not a beanstalk.
I'm kidding. What's it talking about?
Being dissatisfied.
If
your
you're in a
calling shifts.
season where you're dissatisfied, yes, it might be that something in you needs to change.
Yeah.
But it also might be that God's calling you to something new and asking you to let go of this thing that was good and that you were supposed to do, but it's time for a new season.
Yep.
And oftentimes I think we can get stuck because God asked me to do this X number of years ago.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, but He might be asking you to do something new.
Yep.
Now.
Yep.
So quit holding on to this thing.
Yeah.
Let go and do something new. And there's a whole bunch of fear, insecurity, blah, 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 enter, fill in the blank, whatever.
Yeah.
It might be time to let go.
Yep. Just means take an inventory of where you see God moving to. Gather the areas where you see Him, and just instead of listening to the fear, hold on to the hope of what God will release into you in this new season. Because it always happens, every time. But don't let fear punk you around.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're afraid of something, that might be the very place God's calling you to go.
Amen.
Or inviting you to explore.
Yeah.
So, because fear is not from God. We have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. So, if you're afraid of something in your life right now, and you don't want to look at it, it very well might be the devil trying to keep you from exploring what God might be inviting you to explore. Oh, and that takes courage too. That's an honest prayer. I'm afraid to look at that, God. I don't want to look at that. but with you I will, if you want me to. And God goes, my guy, come on, man.
Well, yeah. And if you think you're doing something for Jesus out of fear, it ain't Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
Because he will never use the tools of the enemy to fight the enemy.
That's right.
But I think one of the things we might be afraid of right now is ending this podcast because we've tried ending this like 3 times already.
You've tried ending it 3 times. I have not. But that's okay.
But
We do need
my
to wrap
tea
up.
is now cold,
I'm out of coffee.
just like Snoopy on my mug. I love this mug. Snoopy's my spirit animal.
What movie are we doing next week?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, I'm so excited.
He hates that movie.
I love that movie. This has been The Nightmare Before Christmas. If you got some thoughts, pop in the Facebook group. We would love to hear them. Or at least I would. I can't speak for Jake.
We might ask what your wackiest nightmare's been.
Dude, you don't want to ask that question. Oh, if I got a story for you, but not today because we got to end. So
He'll tell you on the Facebook group. You should join the Facebook group.
thanks for chatting today, Jake. So I appreciated it. And I'm glad I watched the movie.
That's good. Glad you enjoyed it.
I don't know if I highly recommend it.
It's
but
a
I
weird
liked
one.
It is good. It's weird though. It takes a specific kind of person.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. All right. Thanks for talking about it.
Yep.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.